Hi, I'm Sharp. Today I am attempting to put together an Optimus Prime costume, so stick around. Now you might be asking yourself why I said attempt to build. Let's have a look at the files and maybe you'll understand. Now I still consider myself a beginner when it comes to building costume. These are foam files from the description. You'll find the link below if you want in the description, like I said, down below. Now these are the abs files. They're pretty good compared to a lot of the other pieces. These are pretty good. Problems that I've encountered, although with the abs it's not as bad, is if you look here, these two pieces are like go right into each other, not on top, not beside, right through each other. So I'm gonna have to modify this a bit. Again, this is not as bad as some of the other files, but I have to modify that to make that work. This is for the bicep. This is where, again, the attempt starts coming in a little bit. If you notice, again, this is not as big a problem as some of the other pieces, but this part here is just floating in the air. Not too bad. I can just add some pieces in there. This piece here as well is just floating in the air. Basically, with these files, there's no, how can I put it, there's no skeleton, nothing to glue these parts to. And this is, you'll see this even more with some of the other pieces. Now with the biceps, again, I might remove this part over here so I can put my arm through it. That's just in the way. So moving on, now all these pieces up here, all of that, that's all extra stuff. I removed all of that. But again, you fall in the issue where these two pieces are just, you can see in the back, they're just right inside. They go like through each other, which means I have to modify the part to make it work. In the back isn't too bad. There's again stuff that goes through everything, but I was able to make the foot work. Now here is where the pieces in the air with no skeleton to attach anything to comes in a little bit more serious. So you can see here, that part, that's not attached to anything. This is not attached to anything. This is not attached to anything. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way. Again, like I said, I'm still a beginner, so I have to like think of whatever to make these files work. I hope I can make it work. Maybe I should start with the hard pieces. You know, that way if it doesn't work, then I'm not going to carry on. I started with the boot. I figured I'd work my way from the bottom up. We'll see how that goes. There is a file for the helmet. I can bring it up. But the thing is, what I did for the helmet, in order to get the amount of details that are in here, I actually purchased a helmet rather than just build it. I bought the voice changer helmet. I forget who sells it again. I don't have it here with me. It's at a friend's house. He's actually doing some tweaks. That's for later in the video. So let's work with these files. Like I said, I started with the boot. Now I'm going to show you what I'm doing with the stilts. Now these are not the actual stilts I'll be using for Optimus Prime. I bought two sets. These have a minimum height of 15 inches. I'm going to use these actually for my Chewbacca costume. I haven't started that one yet, so you can expect a video on that costume. But they're almost identical. The reason why I didn't get two sets of these ones is one, these are 250 bucks on Amazon. And I thought they were, yeah, fairly expensive. The other ones were cheaper. However, the minimum height was 18 inches, or is 18 inches, I should say. And 18 inches was too tall for my Chewbacca. There is a height limit for Chewbacca. So I bought the shorter stilts for Chewie and the taller stilts for Optimus. Now what I did, like I said, the files, they have pieces that are just floating in the air. Excuse me here for a sec. Because I bought this, I built, with the help of my cousin, because I couldn't figure it out to save my life, I built this frame around the stilts. I'm going to take some foam, like it's probably going to go all the way to the top, and I'm just going to go wrap the foam around it. Got this idea from a friend of mine who built a Bumblebee costume. Going to wrap all around with foam, and then I'm going to attach the pieces to that and then cut the excess as needed. These are the ones that are 18 inches. Almost hurt myself the first time I tried these things. I've never walked on stilts before, but the issue was with an adjustment with this bar right over here. Sorry, I was staring at the camera, at the television instead of the camera there. But once I did that adjustment, I could almost dance or tap dance in these things. That was far better. What I still might do is remove these rubber pieces here and put a bigger sole, just to give me that much extra balance. So what I'm going to try and do now is get that boot and the shin to work around all of that foam. So let's see how that turns out. So I struggled quite a bit with my shins. In the end, I got them done, thank God. So here we have again the stilts with the frame around it. One of the first issue I ran into was that when I put my foam around the full frame, that would have made the shin just plain massive. And even with the modifications that I did, I still think that the shins are too big, but there isn't really any way around it, not that I could see anyway. So in order to make it a little smaller, instead of going completely around the frame, I actually made it so that it was the size of the footrest on the stilt. Now it's sitting on top of the frame, which is actually better, in my opinion. Another issue I ran into is I wear size 12, so my foot was too big to go inside that foam. Luckily, with all the pieces that I added to that, I was able to cut a hole inside, which is still hidden by the parts that I glued to it, and then I made room for my toes, and then that solved the problem. So here I had to modify the foot. The foot was too small, so I just had to extend it a little bit, make it a little bigger. And in the end, I ended up with this. Now, this is the side view, and then here's the front with both shins. Now, once I was done with the shins, I moved on to the thighs. Now, I did a little bit of a video for the thighs. Here's a completed one here. I didn't like what I was doing in the video, so I got rid of it. So what I ended up doing is I made myself a little pattern based on the size of my thigh. You know, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, like there was nothing to glue the pieces on, so I actually, for the thigh, I made myself one, and then once I had that, then I just started gluing everything to it. So in the end, I ended up with this part right here. Now, I have the cod piece in there. I don't like it. I need to change it a little bit. It's a little bit out of proportion. I don't think it's that big a deal. I'm happy with the way it's looking right now. And yeah, now I'm ready to move on. And so before I basically finish this video, I will let you off with a little clip of me walking around with these things. So, if you've enjoyed today's video, please like, share, and comment. And if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button and that notification icon so you don't miss any of my upcoming content. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time in Sharp's Workshop.